Deconverted Man here. Well, considering I did a silly video, I should follow up with a serious video to keep balance in the universe. There's this person I ran across, Joseph Bitton, who doesn't seem to know what a logician is, and says I don't write like one. But I said I was an amateur one anyway, so he thought it was mathematics. That's not what that's not the sort of logic I'm talking about. So am I wrong, or who's wrong here? I don't know. I thought logician was, logic, which formal and informal logic, or is it called something else? I don't know what I am anymore. Carl Edwards. Hey, Deconverted Man. Hey, Carl Edwards. Anyway, so he has a video. He has several videos, and together they're 2 hour some odd, or an hour. Let's see, 2, 4, 6. He's got about an hour's worth of video. Each one is about 17 minutes long. He's got 3 of those, and he's got like a 2-minute some odd video. So 50 some odd minutes. It's just like walking in the park for me to analyze that for logical fallacies, which I would love to do. So let's just pop that video in here and go ahead and where is it? Let's see. You're working, so you'll be lurking. Okay, great. All right, so here we go. This is the first video, Super Science Lecture 1-1. Proof of the existence of God. This is the 794th proof he has, because he has 1,000 proofs of God. This is lecture 1-1, also introduction to the 1,000 proofs of the existence of God. That's what he has written. We can tell how professional he is by the Disney princess poster behind him. Now look, just because you have weird things behind you doesn't negate your argument, but I'm going to point them out. So here we go.
Okay, I recorded proof 794.
What was that? Is that feedback? Let me check everything here. Okay. All right. Let me try again.
On the preface notes, I have about 1,000 proofs of the existence of God. This one might be one of the better ones that I created myself, original. It's hard to be original.
Okay. So he claims that he has no idea what background noise I'm referring to when I said the background noise. Why? My word, it hurts so much, my ears. Bleep me. And he's like, the lecture movie is by one person. It's a movie. It's a movie. By me, only me. Although I refer to several geniuses, it did not cost $22 million like Titanic, about a cruise ship that sunk when it hit an iceberg 100 years ago. It made over $1 billion. And my response to that was, it doesn't cost that much to get a decent mic. Or, I don't know, don't have your fan right next to your camera when you're recording. I don't know what that horrible noise is in the background of this video, but it's in every single video in his lecture series that he has up. Oddly enough, his video where he talks about his video doesn't have that weird noise in the background. So, can you hear the sound, or am I going crazy? That's the disjunctive syllogism for today. Now, it might be a false dichotomy because it's possible that you might hear the sound and I'm going crazy. Or, alternatively, you might not hear the sound and I might not be going crazy. But I think it is a true dichotomy because only one of the two can be true. Either you can hear the sound or I am going crazy. And I'm going to stand by this being a true disjunctive syllogism. Fight me if you want. All right, so I lied. It's not going to be a serious video. I wanted it to be a serious video. I wanted to take apart his argument, but I can't because I can't hear what he's saying over the loud noise in the background. Okay, so there is a way around it. And the way around it is, well, we can turn on captions and we can read those. I guess. I mean, so he's saying people lose faith in the existence of God, blah, blah, blah. Okay, get to the point. Let's see if there's any argument at all. So he's written proofs. Okay, here's a preface. Okay, let's skip all that. He's still talking about the proof. He hasn't gotten to it yet. And so he's talking about YouTube now, and he's okay. We're can you please get to the point? Okay, no, okay. He's talking. It's Easter. Easter's his birthday. Okay, that's nice. Okay, can we get to the? Okay, all right. Let's see. All right, let's see. Which are spread over many courses. Talking about what course requirements, the forms of divine science in the age before the scientific age begins, since divine science uses the Sandberg mathematics and result of the sciences. First, the science of physics was created beginning in a major way with Isaac Newton, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. I don't know what he's talking about. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, skipping through. Let's see. Mathematics of 1,000 years reasoning. It's going to be classified into 200 or 300 more super methods of reasoning. These include fields like arithmetic, algebra. Okay, are you going to get to the proof of God? Come on, just skip to the point. Just please, just get to the point. This is a horrible video. I mean, just my video is horrible because there's very little to interact with here because I had to mute you because of the sound. Maybe the sound's gone now. Nope, still there. Okay, continuous variables and analysis data done by mathematician Rushka Stalin, not the doctor himself. What? I turned it on accidentally. Okay, the software packages to. What are you talking about? Statistical analysis. Artificial intelligence is basically don't you have to supply the instructions of the reasoning or methods. Okay, so I think I'm giving up. That's what happened. Yeah, I'm giving up on that because I don't see the argument at all. But I do want to talk a little bit about our comment exchange because he spent time and energy on this thing, and I think that it's it's something I wanted to do something, but and this whole thing came about because of that in the same stream that I had, which is now set to private, so you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But whatever. So this is him now, 5 years after his video, and he's aged. Well, he's older now. Anyways, but I had no idea what he was talking about in this video. Like, I listened to the whole video, and I'm like, what? And he's just talking about that he posted this video 5 years ago, and I'm like, Well, I can't find it. And so he posted it again for me because I asked, and that was nice. So that's why I'm wasting this energy and time on him, and you're wasting your energy and time on me, because hopefully I can entertain you, maybe educate at some point, but probably not. You guys and girls and robots are way smarter than I am. So I don't know. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. At any rate, so after I said question mark a whole bunch here, let's just go over what I said, all right? I guess that will be this video. Germania is like smiling because he knows why I was there from the stream. Anyways, so he says this is his 5th year anniversary recording my great 2-hour video camera lecture movie. I called myself an amateur logician for a reason. See, I try to keep myself humble. Okay, like I like logic. Now, I think that the right term is logician, which I easily confuse with logician, and so does Google because I can't spell. But it says a student in logic, and that's me. So I could be wrong. It could be the mathematical logic, and Google's definition isn't very good. So I don't know. Whatever. I'm a skeptic. Doesn't matter what I am. Okay. Get back to the video. It was all right. We'll get back to me reading the video. Read whatever this is. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways. So and then he said he posted it, and you know, and so it says 2 hours long and heavy, and I might need breaks. No, you don't understand this sort of insanity I've put myself with. Put myself with? Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I can't talk. Anyways. So I said, you know, my normal snide remark that I say, which, you know what? I just realized that my microphone is way far away from me. So you probably didn't hear anything I've been saying this whole time. I'm an idiot. Is he using a security camera to film this? I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, and listen. The sound's not there. Listen.
Now it's Good Friday, and it's also Passover evening here in Montreal.
Yeah, so I mean, he's clear, he's coherent, I can understand him. There's no horrible buzzing noise in the background that will make my head explode. What happened? Anyways, so okay, sorry. So I said I don't have Facebook because he said he posted it on Facebook. And I said, in the 2 hours, do you present actual evidence or simply give arguments? Because we know the answer to that. He doesn't have evidence. He only has arguments. We know that. We already know that. We know by now that there's not ever going to... I mean, look. There's this saying, you know, if you do the same thing over and over again expecting a different result, you're crazy or something like that. Although it's like, well, sometimes it depends. Maybe you're doing an experiment and you want to make sure, like, but after like, I don't know, 100 plus times of asking theists and apologists for evidence of God or the supernatural or spirits or souls or demons or devils or angels or God or Jesus or afterlife or anything else, you know, and not getting any evidence and just getting bad arguments, I think that it's safe to conclude that we're probably not going to get any evidence ever. Now, I could be wrong. So because I could be wrong, I'm not comfortable saying that. Well, I said it, but you know what I mean. Maybe you don't know what I mean. I don't know what I mean. Anyways, what was I writing? What was I writing? I was reading. That's what I was doing. This video is a train wreck. I blame everything. I give evidence also. I point to God so you can see him with your eyes. LOL. Really, your intellect extends the power of your eyes. Your intellect extends the power of your eyes. I don't know what that means, but okay. Does that mean like the smarter you are, the farther you can see? Like, does that mean like a genius can like see like 50 miles, but like a moron can only like see like 2 inches in front of their face? How does that work? Is this a metaphor? I don't know. It's too deep. It's beyond me, my friends. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. I add here. What? Did I miss something? Let me go back here. Really, your intellect extends the power of your eyes. Period. Okay. I add here. Wait a minute. Maybe it's not fully a joke, since today we can see a lot of things that we could not see before. What was a joke? What are you talking about? What, like, oh, that you could point to God so that we could see him with your own eyes. That would be great. Like, hey, look, there's God. There it is, right there. That would be great. That's what I'm looking for, basically. Okay, so like microorganisms of pandemic, we have telescopes to see faraway stars and microscopes so we can all see atoms, and CAT scans and MRI and video recorders that can slow time. Well, they can. That's not. They don't slow time. Like, they slow down the playback. Whatever. I'm being pandemic. So will technology allow seeing the angels or God? Maybe see people who died and went to paradise with a capital P, because of course paradise has a capital P. It's a proper name of a location, I guess. But the 794 proof is rather complex. I have a list of about 1,000 proofs of God or paradise. So God is also called paradise. Did not know that. Since if have God, then paradise. Wait. Yeah, no, that's what it says. Since if have God, then paradise is an immediate consequence. Though it is different for different people. I'd imagine so. And it depends on what you do here. Huh? What? Though the proofs are not finished yet, some of them are very long, others are short and simple. So you have a lot to choose from. Maybe I can try to give a link here to the 794 proof. He did, so, I just can't hear it because of that horrible noise! So I'm doing this stupid thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what's going on. Why am I doing this? I don't know. But maybe I can summarize it for you. This is why I'm doing it. It's because I could read this. That's right. It is a proof of God based on proving that we have free will. Since it is a miracle, Aristotle and Einstein, wow, Einstein, my brain just shut off there. Just like, I don't know what word I'm reading anymore. Einstein and others rejected it. It breaks the law of causality. Free will breaks the law of causality. Kant argued that free will is possible and does not conflict with the laws of nature. Really, even physics is still limited to mathematical equations. I think we have to revolutionize it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. not only because of free will, but have the new math of algorithms. In computer science, we have computers that can make decisions and act upon them in a way. Also, technology allows a lot once held to be impossible, with a capital I, are those miracles. No. 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 No to all of that. So where does one begin with that? What do you do with that? That's the question. What do we do with this? Okay, so he's probably not like a native English speaker, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I thought he was. You know, maybe he's just not good at typing. I misspell things all the time. So, so the argument, I don't have enough quotes, sorry. The argument is free will. If free will exists, then God exists. Free will exists, therefore God exists. Something like that, right? Now, of course, you have to show association and causation between free will and God, which he's doing by saying that free will is a miracle, which then you would have to show that a miracle means that there's a God, because you could have a miracle without a God. I don't see why you couldn't. You also now need to prove miracles, so that's another thing you have to prove. And by the way, you kind of still have to prove God, yes, because that's kind of a big deal, that you haven't proven that either in your argumentation. But so you're going to have to prove also free will, which I'm pretty sure if you could do that, you would win like a Nobel Prize or something. I think that the route to do that would probably be neuroscience. Maybe, I don't know, because a philosopher could just, write stuff about free will being true, but that's not proof. That's not proven, that's like when you say proof that you're like a mathematical model or some sort of scientific model, you gotta have something here. Let's see. What is it? Yes, dogs are loyal. Proof of dog. Clear, sure. Coherent. Well, let's agree to disagree. Okay, so, anyways, okay. So, what do we do with this? So, I simply laid out, all the logical fallacies that are in this argument. That's not really even an argument. I said, look, you're going to have to prove these things. You're going to have to prove God. You're going to have to prove free will. You're going to have to show an association, causation, linkage between God and free will. You're going to also have to prove miracles and define them and explain them and identify them, which I don't think you can do, but that's what you're going to have to do for your argument to even begin to function. I put it into a hypothetical syllogism for you so you don't have to. I didn't write any of this on his thing, by the way. I wrote some of what I'm saying, but if you wanted to, you could go read whatever. I left the video I link here is the horrible noise with the buzzy noise. So you're going to have to find the other video that I'm talking about where I talk to him, because I'm too lazy to leave the link. Whatever, I don't care anymore. You probably don't even want to go read what I said anyway. So yeah, we both win. That's my excuse for being lazy today. Now I feel bad. I'm gonna have to link it. Dang it. Wait, no, that's that. Okay, so go back, go to here, 5 years, and I link this. Okay, then I'll just put that here, and then I'll edit my own video, go back. Where's my video? Go back to my video, and then edit the video, click the edit video button, and click link there. And then I put that there, and I save it. There it goes. Okay. All right. Glad I can edit this video. Wait, I'm live. I can't edit anything. Well, I suppose I could download it, then edit it. All right, so do we think that this man has proof of free will? No. Why? Well, is it possible that some human could have, if free will is a thing? I don't know that it is. I don't know that it is, and I have no idea. But let's just say that free will could be a thing, and that some human somewhere has proof of it, and maybe that human has that proof, but yet does not have the ability to explain that proof in like a scientific paper, right? That's possible. Okay, let's say that their writing skills are limited or their explanation is rather clunky, but they get it out, and once it's all out, you go, huh, yeah, you proved it. Okay, everything you said, yes, it's broken. We're gonna have to fix this here and there, but ultimately you've proved it. Is that possible? Remotely possible? Maybe. But I doubt it. I just really, really doubt it, because somebody that had that, I think, would probably have some more intelligence than that. But maybe not. Maybe their brain is arranged in such a way that, like, they're really good at that one thing, and they have proof of this, and they can't do like hardly anything else, like they're a idiot savant, so to speak, or something. Could it be? Sure, why not? But I'm pressing doubt button because I always press that button. I need to get a doubt button for my keyboard. That'd be great to have it, but I just doubt it. Then somehow, on top of free will, to show that that breaks the law of causality, I have no idea how you would even do that. Because here's the thing, it wouldn't be a law if it gets broken. Like, then we wouldn't call it the law of causality anymore, or we would change it or modify it. I'm not really sure what would happen. Like if you can negate gravity, is it a law anymore? I don't know how these things work. I don't understand any words anymore. So, I don't know. But so if you did have an actual thing that's in nature, which your brain is in nature, because your brain is nature, you are nature, you are a natural man. I'm taking this video down. This is bad. I apologize. Anyways, you're a natural being. You're physical. You're here. You're born. So yes, the brain, natural. Yeah. Okay. So if we have free will, then it cannot break any laws of the universe. It just couldn't, because then it wouldn't work. Because the laws are our description of how the universe works. So sometimes we update those rules because we learn something new about the universe. This would be another case of, I guess we have to update it because we learned something new. So it couldn't actually break the law of causality in that way. And he says it's a miracle. So what is a miracle? Miracle is, well, it depends what you ask, who you ask, but it is a breaking of the law of reality, right? So, of course, I have a whole video on that. I have a couple of videos where I talked about miracles and the problem of them, and miracles, even if they exist, you couldn't prove it. So, and I'll make probably a similar analogy now that I did in that video. But okay, let's say this is the miracle, and we don't know what this is, and it does this, and we don't know how it does that, and it just exists, and it's there, and that's it. And it's a miracle because that's what we're calling it. But science can't figure it out. Science looks at it. We look at it through microscopes and analyze it. We just don't know what it is. It makes no sense to us at all. It defies everything that we've ever understood about our universe by its mere existence, right? And we go, okay, well, we're calling it miracle because we don't have any other name for it. We could call it Bob. But basically, to assert that it is a miracle, I say is an appeal to ignorance. Because the honest answer is, we don't know what it is. We've done everything that we can to test it, and we don't know. And that's the real answer, is not, well, it's miracle. We can name it whatever we want. Don't get, but that doesn't make it what it is. We could also call it magic, and it would have the same sort of properties. It's like, well, magic you can't test with scientific equipment, but maybe we ran the wrong test. Maybe the equipment's malfunctioning. Maybe any number of possibilities. Just because we've run out of explanations for it, that doesn't mean that it then therefore fits into this other category. And that's what the theist apologetic attempts to do when invoking the supernatural. They say there's the natural realm that we're all familiar with and that we exist in. We're born and we die here, and we have all the experiences that we're going to have here in this natural realm. But there's another realm that's not like this one, that's not physical, it's not bound by time or space, apparently. And in this non-physical realm, you still have awareness somehow, and you either go to the good place or the bad place or the medium place, depending on what theology you think is true or happens to be true, right? Or maybe you're reincarnated a whole bunch of times and then eventually go back to nirvana. I don't know. It depends what thing is true, right? But anyway, so this other thing is non-scientific. It is beyond the natural. Science cannot explore this realm. And I go, that's interesting. How do you know it's there? How do you know there's a supernatural realm when you have nothing to show? Because the supernatural, you've said, isn't, it is defined by precisely what it isn't. It is not, the camera's shaking all over the place. There we go. It is not physical. It is not bound by natural laws, whatever that means. It is, so it is all these things that it isn't. And you're like, and I'm like, well, show me it. Because you're saying that's the definition of the word. I'll grant that. But you haven't shown me the thing. And they're like, well, but I can't show you it because its nature prohibits me from showing you it. And I'm like, but you can't say what its nature is unless you have an example. The closest we can come to, I think, a true grasp of what the supernatural miracle thing would be, I think, would be an object of the mind. Objects of the mind are easily understood. Letters are objects of the mind. Every single letter is an object of the mind. You cannot go outside and find the letter A today. Now, you might find something that is in the shape of the letter A. You could make something that's in the shape of the letter A, but it is not A. It isn't the letter A. It's A, but it's not. It's not actually A. It's not made up of A molecules. There are no well, maybe there are A molecules out there that I'm not aware of, but there's probably not, So you can't locate the A out there in the world. A exists in our brains, yours and mine, and we can write it down. Okay, so we have a symbol. And we assigned a sound to that symbol, and that's what it is. And that's all it is. It's not a thing that you can pick up and hold because it's an object of the mind. And so you could say, well, that's what the supernatural is. It's kind of like that. It's not something you can pick up and hold like the letter A. So I'm like, okay, so it's in the brain. Okay, so it's imaginary. It's made up. It's not really real. It's It's convenient, it's useful, but it's not a thing. It's something that doesn't exist without the mind existing, so to speak. That if we'll ignore the possibility of aliens out there in the universe and say that humans are it, which would be pretty scary. But let's just, to make it simple, say, okay, humans are the only intelligence at this sort of level that is in the universe, right? And go, okay, if we aren't, we'll go poof, right? We're gone. Then the letter A, that's not a thing anymore because there's no human to read it. There's no human to say it. You can have it printed all over the building if you want, but it's not a thing anymore. That's what an object of the mind essentially is. So it requires a mind to make it in the first place. So it is kind of like it is imagination in a way. It's like it is a convenient tool that we've agreed upon has a utilitarian function that we all can share. I'm claiming double lobster points for watching stream and having context. Yes, you get double lobster points. So if the supernatural is nothing more than an object of the mind, it becomes much more understandable. But it's not spaceless and it's not timeless because objects of the mind exist in space and time in your brain and my brain. And we can talk about them and we can share them with each other. We can even make up new ones if we want. In fact, this thing that I've been, this ball, whatever this weird ball thing that glows, if you whack it, this we could decide together what we're going to call it. We could decide on a lot of attributes that it has. Now, if we want to stay honest, and I think we should, we'd go, okay, well, we're going to have to rely on Deconverted Man for some of that because he has the object and we don't have the object. So what is it? It's rubber. I think it's rubber, plastic, I don't know. But you could probably get a similar thing yourself and, explore it more. But I don't see the make or model of it. But these things, there's things like that are close enough or whatever, And okay, it's rubbery, it's plasticky, it's got, different thing, green and yellow and blue and orange and pink and purple, but maybe you're colorblind, or maybe that doesn't look yellow to you. Maybe and it's like, is this dark blue? Yeah, or we could say, okay, that's blue, or we could call it dark blue, and maybe we would debate about what labels that it should have. Right, but we would eventually come to the same conclusions about this if we're being honest about it, right? We would all come to the conclusion of this object and all be able to describe it in pretty much the same way because it's a real thing. Try doing that with the supernatural. What is it? Depends who you ask. Different people have different ideas of what it is. Ask them to identify it. Forget it. They can't do it. The best you'll get is, I was healed from this or that. The doctor said I was going to die. I didn't die. That's a miracle. Why? That happens. People don't die. Sometimes the diagnosis is wrong. Sometimes the body is able to recover. Things like that happen. That's an expected result. But it also means that if you did die, then it's not a miracle, which makes it a complete incoherent idea that cannot be tested. It's like, if you die, it's not a miracle. If you don't die, it's a miracle. Well, I'm still alive. Must be a miracle. Everything then would be a miracle. rendering the word meaningless and pointless, right? And same with supernatural. It's like, well, what do you mean by supernatural? It depends who you ask. So it is then not a thing that's out there to find. It is a thing that can only be found here in our own brains. We made it up. We humans created it together as a society, as individuals, and the idea of it has changed and evolved through time. And different cultures have different ideas of it. And different groups have different ideas. And even me, I have different ideas about what it actually is because, well, I'm trying to be honest about what it actually is. Whereas the apologist, the theist, has a particular thing that they're trying to defend this idea. I'm defending this thing, and I must do that because I believe it is true that there is a supernatural. I believe that it is true that there is a miracle. I believe that it is true that there is a God here, right? And so, because of that commitment to that belief, everything and anything that stands in the way of that must be discarded, must be ignored, must be that you interpreted it wrong, that their ego is at fault, that it's not that you didn't give them enough evidence. You gave them all you needed. It's their fault. They just want to sin. They're retrograde, whatever. Demons are messing with their head. Anything that you can do to justify it. Now, a skeptic, at least my idea of a skeptic, and you can tell me I'm wrong about what a skeptic is or isn't, and I'll be like, yeah, you're probably right. I don't care. I'm going to use the label how I want, whatever. But for me, skeptic is holding in judgment the idea. To be skeptical of the thing is to not say that it's true or false. I don't know. It could be true. It could be false. But because I don't have enough information, I don't know. And that's it. And I live there until I get more information. So in the past, I've said about logical arguments that if we don't have a valid and sound argument, we must be skeptical of the conclusions. That means we have to hold the conclusions in judgment. And sometimes I might have said the word doubt, and I think doubt is not quite the right word to use. So I've been more careful, hopefully, in these later years of saying we've got to be skeptical of this. But that's all you have is an argument. You don't have evidence, but the theist says evidence in like every single video we see. Why is that? Well, for them, it is evidence. For them, that argument is evidence, even though arguments are not evidence. I've had smart, intelligent people that happen to be a theist argue with me that no, an argument is evidence. And I said, really? Can I go to the bank and argue that I have $1 million in my account to withdraw? They usually don't respond to that for some reason because we know that that's ludicrous. We know that you could not go to the bank, go up to the teller and say, hey, look, teller, how you doing there? It's a good day. Okay, look, either you exist or I don't have $1 million or I don't have $1 million, but you do exist. So then I must not have $1 million. So then I do have $1 million. And the teller's like, what? They're like, look, either you exist or I don't have $1 million. So if the statement I don't have $1 million is true, then you don't exist. Do you exist? And the teller's like, yes, as they're pushing that red button to call the cops on you, or hitting it with their foot, or I don't know where they put the button. I would put it on the floor, but maybe you trip over it. So I think they I don't know. Anyways, they're pushing the secret button, right? They're like, yeah. So if you exist, then the statement that I don't have $1 million is therefore false, which means I do have $1 million. And I would like to withdraw, well, not all of it, because I don't expect you to have that much here, but I'd like to withdraw as much as I could, please. Now, either you're going to get arrested or taken out by security, or, they're not going to let you get away. They're just going to ask you to leave or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to run that test myself, and I would advise you running that test. But if you do, please film it and get somebody to put it on YouTube, because you'll probably be arrested, and I want to laugh at your shenanigans. But Deacon for the Man said don't do it. So now if you do it, it's your own fault, right? But no, that doesn't work. So arguments are not evidence. And this one guy was like, oh yeah? Well, if arguments aren't evidence, what's your evidence for that? Ha ha! As if that was like a checkmate, right? Like, oh, he pwned me because I'm saying that this idea is true. And if the idea is true, well, then I must have evidence that the idea is true. And I'm like, oh, that's very clever. So now you want evidence because you're saying that I need evidence to convince you that an argument by itself is not enough to convince you. So either I do need evidence, in which case the statement that arguments are not evidence is correct, or I don't need evidence, in which case the argument still is correct. Either way, I win. And so they never responded to me again. So that was the end of that. Because I guess either they gave up or they realized that by asking me for evidence for the argument, they're admitting that they need evidence. And so therefore the argument, which a statement by itself, I don't know that you could really say that a statement is an argument. I guess you could consider a single statement an argument to some degree. To me, it'd be a premise at the very least. But anyways, okay. So the statement that arguments are not evidence in and of itself is an argument according to them. And now they're asking me for evidence, which I'm saying, well, but you wouldn't need evidence if the argument is evidence. And if the argument is evidence, then the argument fails, which means it doesn't fail, and it goes into this paradox. So why do theists say that arguments are evidence, even though they aren't? Well, probably because that's all they have is arguments. They don't have the empirical evidence. They don't have the thing that they can hold up or point to and say, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. It cannot be done. And worse than that, because there's things that we can't just point to. Fair enough. There's things like that. But we can visualize phenomenon. We have all sorts of different technologies that can do that. But there is perhaps some phenomenon that cannot be visualized. Okay, what we have is repeated tests for that. And we can test it at least. And we can make predictions and models and such. Can you do that with your idea of supernatural? No. Can you do that with God? Well, they've tried. I've heard this. I've heard it. It's like, yes, you can test God. If you believe in Jesus, then you'll feel the power of Jesus in you and you'll be transformed, and then you'll know that Jesus is real. And I'm like, that's not a test. That's not a test. Because, well, it's not a test for a number of reasons. There's no failure to that test, because if I go, okay, great, I believe in Jesus now, somehow. Nothing's happened. I'm not transformed. Well, you didn't actually believe in Jesus. There's a way out. There's a way out. So it's not an actual test. The Quran has a thing like that in it where it's like, get somebody to write a book like this. Nobody can do it. that proves it's from God or whatever. And it's like, yeah, because you made it vague, so nobody can do it. I mean, what are you asking people to do? I mean, it's not clear, so it's not a test. If you could pray a prayer and you would get a certain result every time, that would be something to explore. Now, would that prove God? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But we don't even have that. We don't have it. And metadata studies on prayer shows that the result is about what chance is. So not very good. And in some cases worse. And then oddly enough, the only time that really good results are shown is when the people studying it all happen to be from the same church and paid for the study and won't let anyone look at their data. But they totally got good results, I'm sure. Yeah. So I don't know that you could or couldn't prove free will. Maybe you could, if it's a thing. Maybe it's, and here's the thing. What if free will is kind of just like really small? Like it's not as much as you would want it to be. Because I think that's, if I'm to speculate about free will, my speculation is, well, what is free will? The ability to do arbitrary actions. Well, what's an arbitrary action? That's an arbitrary action. But I had to think somewhere in my brain to smash ball against my head, knowing it would hurt a little bit, but not that much. And so somewhere in my brain, I told my hand to do that. So was it actually arbitrary? I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know. Leave that up to the neurologists. But what if it turns out that it's all determined? Okay, whatever. I mean, whatever the truth is the truth. And that's what should matter. I had recently watched the National Institute for Science Education. They have wonderful videos up, and they were talking about the brain. It was amazing. Just amazing stuff. Mwah. Except for the last guy that's talked, he was a little bit woo, But other than that, I guess you have to have like one kind of weird guy. That's like the rules. Like we'll have all serious people and a psychic. Why not? Sure. Yeah. But he wasn't a psychic. I don't know what his deal was, but what he was saying didn't make any sense. But the one had research that they were doing on depression, and they have been able to insert this thing into your brain and like zap your brain in a certain way. It's not like the zapping that you might think of where they put the thing on your head and they, in the old days and they zap people. It's not like that at all. It's like implanted in your brain, and it's like, I guess like a microchip or something, and it like emits like a little pulse whenever the brain is not doing what it should be doing. And basically it has removed depression from the people in the study. And I'm like, oh, I want to be in. Can I do that? So I emailed them. I emailed the person. I was like, yeah, sure. Hey, why not? It's worth asking, because if you don't ask, you don't know. Well, I'm not broken enough to qualify for that study, which I guess is good on one hand, because they're looking for people where it's like you have failed this medication and this medication and this failed and this psychologist and psychiatrist and all these things failed and you're out of options. Now we can actually use you for the study because it's still experimental phase. So there's an ethic board that they have to answer to, and there's the grants, and there's the all the oversight that has to happen in these studies. So just a dude that happens to have depression, it's not good enough. They need somebody that's like got depression so bad that they've broken everything by trying to fix it and nothing has worked. That's the sort of person they need. And it's like, well, I'm glad I'm not that person. I mean, it's bad. I don't want it. I would like it gone, but it's not there yet. It's not at that level. It's not something I can just get prescribed to me because it's not in that phase. I don't, goodness knows how many years it will be before it comes out. But if it does, imagine they might have the cure for certain types or maybe all of depression. That would be pretty nice to have. And people would go and get it, as you know, if they qualify, if they meet the requirements, because the thing is with brain surgery, it's still a pretty big deal. And if you can get it, the problem treated with medication, the doctor will not prescribe to you brain surgery if they feel like, well, but what we're doing is working. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to take medication. I just want it gone forever. And the doctor will say, sorry, but I can't ethically do that because it's too dangerous. So that's not fair in a way, but that's reality. Maybe we'll get to a point where brain surgery isn't that big of a deal so that you can get it like you could like prescription medicine or something. I don't know. The reason for that is, well, it's on my mind to talk about, and also because there is something real that that people are studying and trying to figure out the brain and how it works, which is chemistry, neurology. There's computer sciences involved in it because if you're dealing with microchips, and there's all sorts of complicated things going into it that's improving the quality of life or attempting to do so. And that's real. And that's something to be excited about. And meanwhile, we have apologists. I just saw one earlier that said, that he was going to kill himself, but he had experience of God. And so he's been fine the past year. I'm like, yeah, but if it is chemical and it does come back, you're screwed because you didn't get help at all. So maybe you should, check it with a doctor if you had depression that badly. It might be chemical, it might be environmental, it might be any number of things. And you're doing yourself a disfavor because you believe that God fixed it. And God didn't fix it. Because if there is a God, the only place that I think it could exist is in there. Your brain already would have fixed it if it could. So, did it? Well, I don't know. Maybe it did. But you can't figure that out on your own. You're not qualified to do that. You need to go see somebody to look at your head to figure it out. But people believe in the power of prayer and believe in the power of God so much that they will die in that belief because they didn't get a treatment. Amazing. Scary. That's all I got for you. Thanks for listening to this, whatever this was. If you can translate what that guy says in that horrible video where I can't listen to it, let me know if he makes any kind of argument at all so I can cover it. I can't listen to the video, but I did this. So this was a thing. Did I say anything that you didn't agree with? Did I say things that you did agree with? Did you want me to say something that I didn't say? Let me know in the comments below, because that's how I know that you're there. I mean, I see some people in chat, but that doesn't count for YouTube. Who cares? Whatever. All right. Thanks, and all hail Bob. Until next time. Bob. Bob was glowing and was distracting me. All right. Oh man, I wanted to put him on my head. He fell down. Let's try to. Come on. There we. No, come on. Come on. Work with me. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Thanks for watching.